FOMO. It's the fear of missing out. It's something that probably all of us experienced this year in one way or another. In this video, I'm going to try to give you a few tips on how to avoid the problem before it starts and how to deal with it after it happens. And I have a few crazy tips that I think might surprise you. These are the base vlogs. We are pretty much always talking about music festivals, concerts, or just music in general. So if you're into that, definitely like and subscribe. This is my wook resolution series, where we talk about ways that we can improve our lives in both positivity, productivity, and musical experiences. So,
pretty sure these are the base vlogs.
So 2020 is almost here, and you need to decide what vacations, concerts, music festivals that you plan to attend. And it's crazy because you're getting pulled in so many different directions. You know, Brad is going to Lost Lands, Cassie is going to 515 Alive, April's going to Basewoods, Taylor's going to Electric Forest, and of course Michael's going to EDC. And you've already decided that the best decision you could make is to just go to everything.
But you only have $800 to spend, and that just doesn't seem possible.
So you decide you're going to weigh your options. So on the one hand, you have EDC in Las Vegas. I mean, sure, it's a little pricey, but it has some of the most incredible production value the world's ever seen, some of the most incredible EDM artists, some of the most incredible stages. Yeah, you should probably go to EDC. But then there's Electric Forest. And Electric Forest is one of the most artistic and incredible experiences that anyone could have. At least that's what they say. Yeah, you should go to Electric Forest. But then Lost Lands, I mean, that's just tradition. You've been to Lost Lands so many times, and you can't not go to Lost Lands. Yeah, you'll go to Lost Lands. But then, after all, I mean, New York, I mean, that's something new and different. Traveling, you've always wanted to travel. And who doesn't want to go to the biggest city in the United States of America? Yeah, you should go to New York. But then you'll miss EDC. That's FOMO. And most people are just going to tell you to simply ignore it and act like it's something that just happens in life that you can't do anything about. And maybe to a point that's true. But I have 5 tips for you on ways to make FOMO a little bit less likely and also a little bit easier to deal with after it already happens. Just like anything, the best way to stop a problem is to stop it from happening in the first place. So for the first tip, I'd like to talk about the
FOMO danger zone.
And that's social media. On social media, every single one of your friends has talked about their vacation. They've posted pictures, they've gotten excited about how many days it is till it's gonna happen, and they've probably recommended that you go. Or maybe even made one of those silly "gone to the Bahamas" posts as their profile picture. And it's pretty normal that you're just a little bit jealous. And sure, you really thought it through and you decided to attend the events that you want to attend for a reason. But there's still part of you that kind of wished you could have done their thing too. And there isn't a lot of ways to avoid that. And I've heard a lot of people like online do speeches about how you should delete your social media to avoid FOMO. And right now I'm going to tell you,
in 2019, that's freaking crazy.
But one thing that I feel like everyone should do is they should go and delete certain people off of their social media that give them those negative feelings. Now, I'm not telling you to delete your best friend. I'm not telling you to delete your mom. I'm not telling you to delete your brother. I'm telling you, delete your ex next door neighbor from 2008 who goes to the Bahamas twice a year. Delete your second cousin's ex-wife who just bought a boat. If FOMO is really a problem in your life, then you don't need that kind of negativity. Put a group of people around yourself who are doing the same things that you're doing so that you can get excited about those things and not get jealous about the things that other people are doing. And there's another place on the internet that I definitely feel like FOMO is pretty much always going to be present. And that's in the aisle when you're window shopping. I know I have a pretty bad habit of going to music festival sites, vacation sites, cruise ship sites, and window shopping a little bit. And sure, it's good to price check, it's good to do things like that, but a lot of times when I do this, I already know I can't afford something, and the only reason I'm on the page is to daydream about it. And I realized that I've never really enjoyed one of those experiences. I've never really felt like I gained anything out of... Every time I go on one of those pages and I imagine what it would be like, look at the benefits, look at the costs, already knowing that I can't afford to or don't have the time off to attend that event, I end up leaving the event empty and feeling like the things that I have just aren't good enough. So one thing that I do is I try to plan my schedule as early as possible and then pretty much announce my schedule to the world so that nobody can veer me off track. Like, if you were to ask me right now in January if I was going to EDC, I am not going to EDC Las Vegas this year. There's just no way it's possible for me. It doesn't make sense for me financially. I'm not going. If you were to ask me if I wanted to go, I would say it doesn't really matter because I'm not going. If you want to hand me a ticket to EDC, sure, that'd be great. But I'm not going to let that thought enter my mind because it's not productive. Now, the third way is a little bit more lovey-dovey.
Third way is a way to prevent it after it happens.
But it's also a little bit mean. But you're keeping it inside your brain, so it's okay. Now, when my friends, we have a group chat that me and my friends are pretty involved in. And in that group chat, we talk about things that we are doing in the future, plans that we have. Sometimes we even talk about things that we've purchased recently. And when I feel jealousy creeping in, when I feel that FOMO creeping in, that I want to do the thing that they're doing, but I feel like I can't, I think about the things that I'm doing that they're not doing. Sure, maybe that's a little cold, maybe that's a little jealous, but FOMO can be a major problem that can cause a lot of anxiety and depression in people. And I feel like if weighing the things that you have against the things other people have makes you feel better, then maybe that's the right thing to do. Sure, don't let it get out of hand and start bragging or pushing your ideas on them. But it's nice to hold some pride in your heart that you are doing a lot of cool things and that you have a lot of fun too. Even though sometimes it's harder to appreciate the things that you have and the experiences that you will be enjoying, then it is easy to be jealous of the experiences other people are going to have. This is probably my favorite tip out of all of them, and that is, if you're feeling left out, act out. Now, I've seen this done in a whole lot of different ways, but basically what I'm saying here is, if, let's say you wanted to go to New York City, and you know that you can't afford to go, and all your friends are going, act like you're in New York. Basically what I'm saying here is, maybe if you were spending the day in New York, you would go see the Statue of Liberty, or go see Wall Street, or go get famous New York style pizza. Well, You can do all that right here. You can have a couple beers and make New York style pizza. You can watch a documentary or build a Lego Statue of Liberty. You can walk around your town and awkwardly take pictures of the tallest building in your town. I know this sounds silly and ridiculous and like it's not gonna work, but you'd be surprised at how much this can help you take your mind off of what you're missing out. I'm sure most of you have heard of Lost Lands. Lost Lands has this thing called Couchlands, and I saw so many people being like, Couchlands isn't any fun, you're just watching videos. But the thing is, if you really make a day of it and find a way to enjoy it, it'll help distract you. Like, I heard of people having like 4 or 5 of their friends over and having like a little mini rave inside their house watching Couchlands, all dressed up and really like give it your all. Like, if your budget for New York would have been $1,200, spend $50 getting rid of that FOMO and making some awesome New York style pizza and having fun with your Lego Statue of Liberty. You can do things to take your mind off of things, even if they seem silly. It's worth a shot, and if you keep a positive attitude, you can have a really good time with it. Last tip is kind of a two-parter, so you're kind of getting a bonus here. And that is, if you're feeling left out, don't get left out. Since you've decided not to get left out, what you need to do is you need to make a list of everything that you want to do this year. Make a list. Make a list of how much time off, how much cost. Just make a list of all the things that you need to make those things happen. Now, I'm sure you're going to look at this list, and more than likely, you're going to say it's impossible. So, come up with a way to make it happen. Come up with a way to possibly get a better job, maybe get more educated so that you can afford to do all these things. No matter how long it takes, figure out what you would have to do to make all of these things happen in your life. Now that you've figured that way out, is it really what you want to do? Are you really willing to make all these sacrifices in your life to make these things possible? If the answer is yes, well, then maybe you're not the kind of person who misses out. Maybe you're the kind of person who spends all day grinding and working just so that you can have the better things in life. And you know what? It sounds like you're going to work yourself to death, but if it's what you want, I hope you get it. However, if you're looking at this list of things you'd have to do, sacrifices you'd have to make all these things possible, and you say that you're not willing to do that, well, then that's your answer. You want to stop and smell the roses. You want to enjoy the things you have, because deep down you don't need all those fancy things. You just need time to relax and chill with your thoughts, because you never really wanted to do all those things anyway. It was just the fear of missing out. Alright, well, that's the video. As I always say, make sure to have a positive, productive, and music-filled 2020. Deuces, these are wook resolutions. We'll be coming at you next Sunday. Sunday.